Today's Daily McGonagall, after yesterday's Robert Burns break, is the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebrations. It was in the year of 1897, and on the 22nd of June, Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee in London caused a great boom, because high and low came from afar to see the grand celebrations at Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee. People were there from almost every foreign land, which made the scene really imposing and grand, especially the Queen's carriage, drawn by 8 coloured bays, and when the spectators saw it, joyous shouts they did raise. Oh, it was a most gorgeous sight to be seen. Numerous foreign magnates were there for to see the Queen, and to the vast multitude there of women and men, Her Majesty for 2 hours showed herself to them. The head of the procession looked very grand, a party of the Horse Guards with a gold-belaced band, which also headed the procession of the colonial states, while slowly they rode on until opposite the palace gates. Then the sound of the national anthem was heard quite clear, and the sound of the hearts of the mighty crowd it did cheer, and they heard the royal hymning on the morning air. The scene was most beautiful and surpassing fair. On the housetops thousands of people were to be seen, all in eager expectation of seeing the Queen, and all of them seemed to be happy and gay, which enhanced the scene during the day. And when Field Marshal Roberts in the procession passed by, the cheers from the thousands of people arose very high, and to see him on his war horse was inspiring to see, because he rode his charger most splendidly. The town-mounted troops were loudly cheered, they looked so grand, and also the London Irish Emerald Isle Band. Oh, it was a most magnificent sight to see, the Malta Militia and artillery, and the Trinidad artillery, and also bodies of infantry, and as the crowd gazed thereon, it filled their hearts with glee. Her Majesty looked very well considering her years, and from the crowd burst forth joyous cheers, and Her Majesty bowed to the shouts of acclamation, and smiled upon the crowd with a loving look of admiration. His Excellency, Chan Yin Hun, in his carriage was a great attraction, and his oriental garb seemed to give the people great satisfaction, while the 2 little Battenberg carriage, as it drove along, received from the people's cheering loud and long. And when the Dragoon Guards and the Hussars filed past at the walk, then loudly their praise the people did talk, and the cavalry took 40 minutes to trot past, while the spectators in silent wonder stood aghast. And then Her Majesty, the Empress Frederick, a great sensation made. She was one of the chief attractions of the whole cavalcade, and in her carriage was the Princess Louise, the Marchioness of Lawn, in her beautiful white dress, which did her person adorn. The scene in Piccadilly caused a great sensation. The grand decorations there were the theme of admiration, and the people in St. James's Street were taken by surprise, because the lovely decorations dazzled their eyes. The 42nd Highlanders looked very fine when they appeared and took up a position on the line, and the magnificent decorations in the Strand, as far east as the Griffin, was attractive and grand. The grandstand from Buckingham Palace to Temple Bar was crowded with eager eyes from afar, looking on the floral decorations and flags unfurled, which had seen the grandest spectacle ever seen in the world. The corner building of St. James's Street side was lovely to view, ornamented with pink and white bunting and a screen of blue, and to the eye the inscription thereon most beautiful seems, "Thou art alone the Queen of earthly queens." The welcome given to Commander-in-Chief Lord Wolseley was very flattering. The people cheered him until the streets did ring, and the foreign princes were watched with riveted admiration, and caused among the sightseers great consternation. and private householders seemed to vie with each other in the lavishness of their decorations, and considered it no bother. And never before in the memory of man had there been a national celebration so grand. And in conclusion, I most earnestly do pray, may God protect Her Majesty for many a fine day. My blessing on her noble form and on her lofty head, and may she wear a crown of glory hereafter when dead. McGonagall always seemed to worry about how well the Queen was going to be treated after she was dead. He seemed to end most of his poems about her with that. He was an interesting chap. We'll be back tomorrow with more McGonagall.